Okay, trying this again. Okay, got two 6-inch ducts going in. They're aluminum. Insulated that, as you can tell, with just flex duct. And got a piece of plywood, cut out holes for. Do need to fix that and put a piece of tin in there. Some kind of metal so it don't get hot enough to ignite, which it never did. And I wrapped it all in just insulation. It's only, I think, about 2-inch insulation, top, back, each side. And I got a piece of tin up here to keep it from getting so wet. If it does get wet, it will dry out right there by the pipe. Right there's my damper I built. Put it back in. I just got a 4-foot piece of stovepipe with a cap on it. And yes, it ain't high enough, but it is high enough to work this stove. Apparently, the draft's good. Ain't got no issue there. And I have two 4-inch center blocks underneath to see them, to keep it off the porch and it don't get hot underneath there. You can touch it with your hand at all times. I got a little blower I bought off Amazon inside that is blowing through the bottom and comes up through it and then blows out the top and inside, and it works pretty good. I do need a little more powerful blower so I can actually turn the stove up higher, but that's only on like 20-degree days to 10-degree days pretty much. And I did have to rebrace the door. I had to rebrace it here because all this was bowing in. I did heat it up pretty bad and caused all this to warp in. It still warped a little bit. I accidentally broke the handle off, or not the handle, the latch right here. Rewelded it and done a couple extra little welds here and there just to reassure it for this winter, so I ain't got to do nothing hopefully on repairs. I did run the gasket all the way up there with the glue across the top and down the side. Did not do the bottom because I could not reach it. And this little bugger right here just slides back and forth. Ain't supposed to go that way, but it does. Actually, it don't matter, it just gets stuck. And been running for about 11 hours. And show y'all how much wood's actually left. Now, I remind you, it's been a 40-degree night, so it ain't been real bad, and it ran 11 hours with kind of crappy wood. The wood's fairly, some of it's dry, some of it's wet. I goofed up and didn't get my wood that I cut this spring till this summer, and I should have got it earlier and got it split and dried out. As you see, all the stuff on the door. Did get the gasket on the door. It's glued on pretty good. Do need to clean it off a little bit. Right there's how much wood is actually in there, which is still a pretty good bit. I can run that for another, I would say, on a 40-degree day, probably another 2 hours. It's going to warm up today, probably 60 some, which is going to be pretty nice. So I'm just going to shut everything down and it'll reignite itself tonight when I open up the dampers. But I probably put 2 pieces of wood in there just to make sure. I did re-weld, put a brace of angle all the way around the door to secure it because it was warping out and causing it to leak. So yeah, I welded it, grounded it down, and it is working now. But that is part 2. Y'all have any questions or anything, throw it in some comments. I'll try to answer it or make another video for you all if you need more. There is your poor man's stove, I guess. Been looking at all the prices. It ain't the best right now, that's for sure. Now, in all honesty, I'd like to get a basement heater and just build a roof over it and run it into my ductwork and do it that way, but the prices went up to, I think, around $1,800 for one of those, and I could have got them for $800 to $900 before. So, built this and should have bought that a little earlier, apparently. But y'all have a good day.